I saw this post on Reddit, and it seemed like an interesting title. I'm assuming it's from a young man, and he's asking, where do you even start with self-improvement? I'm going to put the block of text on the screen so you can kind of read it yourself. If you want to pause the video and kind of go through it, feel free to do it, because I know it's a big block of text. It's a lot of text. But the short story from what I'm gathering is that he's kind of being told by people around him that he needs to go to the gym and eat healthy in order to feel better. He said he's been depressed, and people are saying the way to get out of it is to eat better and hit the gym. But he's saying that it's too overwhelming, and he feels kind of the social anxiety whenever he goes to the gym. He feels like all the dudes there are bigger than him, and they're probably judging him. And he logically understands that this is not true, but emotionally, when he gets to the gym, he feels shitty about himself. He feels that anxiety. And it seems like he's kind of just struggling with that, figuring out exactly where to start, what he should be doing to, I guess, not feel depressed and to not feel shitty. And I like this post because I felt this exact same way years ago. I remember when I was so I've told the story in different like podcast interviews I've been on and just different videos I've made myself. But when I was in college, at one point, well, 2 points technically, but kind of through the beginning of college, I kind of went through like a bit of depression. And it was like, initially when I first got into college, there was like no depression. Then sophomore year was actually like the highlight of my college life. It was probably one of my favorite years completely, just because of the dynamic. And I'm actually gonna probably tie around to that in just a second. My junior year was the year I kind of first got depressed because everyone got so separated and my routine changed so dramatically. Well, if you can even call it a routine, there really was no routine besides like waking up until like 5 minutes before class and just putting on whatever was nearby and walking to class, and then just kind of doing the bare minimum for homework and just bullshitting with friends. That was my routine pretty much. I didn't really go to the gym much back then, not like consistently at least. I went to the gym, but it wasn't like super consistent. And I had already started to feel like the depression around that time, but it wasn't like heavy. It was like kind of creeping in because every once in a while you'd walk around campus, you see like dudes holding hands with like their girlfriends. And at the time I couldn't even get girls to talk to me really. So I was like super unhappy because I was like, man, how do these dudes get these girls at Penn State, which is like a party school, and I can barely get any girl to talk to me? That was such a like crazy feeling for me. And it was super shitty. And that's when like that depression started to kick in. And then it kind of like really escalated once I got kicked out of school. They sent me a letter in the mail. I don't want to go too deep into the story because I've talked about it in different like videos and podcasts, but pretty much school sent me a letter saying you still owe money for tuition, leave. Like you can't live on campus, because at the time I was living on campus. They said you can't live on campus, you got to leave. You can't come back until you finish paying off this tuition. So this was like fall semester, I got this letter. So spring semester was like the first semester I was not an actual student. And it was shitty because one, I was out of shape. And I'm going to say this ahead of time. Being out of shape, I think automatically lowers your mood. I know there's like this fat positivity thing. And I know this isn't meant to be offensive to people who are overweight. But I will say, this is anecdotal. So take that as you will. Maybe, disagree with me if you would like to. But I will say from personal experience, I've been overweight and I've been like ripped. Partially by choice nowadays, because like you eat more to bulk up and then you lose the body fat. And sometimes I take my sweet time to cut just because it's not like a major priority. But I've been overweight and I've been lean. And 100% of the time, being lean feels exponentially better than being overweight. Literally, it feels so much better. Everything feels better. You feel like your sex drive is higher. You feel more energetic. You feel stronger. You look in the mirror and you always get a positive feedback loop when you look in the mirror and you see yourself look ripped. Everything is better about being in shape and lean. I do not mean that to like, talk shit about people who are overweight or fat, but all these fat positivity people are lying. It is not better to be overweight. It's not healthier. There's very little that's good about being overweight. It's better to be in shape. And that'll certainly start to make you feel better by default. But yeah, at the time I was like overweight, had no money. Of course, I was a college student, but on top of that, I was like even more of a broke college student because I wasn't technically even a college student because I got kicked out. So I was just a broke adult, I guess, a broke young adult who didn't have any money, who could barely afford to pay rent or even go out or do anything. So I was literally like just slaving away at like, I worked at Walmart, worked at a gas station, worked at a movie theater, worked at a bar as a dishwasher. It was awful. So I didn't have any money. And of course, I hadn't had any girlfriend. I had no girls that were talking to me, couldn't flirt with girls, was super bad around the few girls that probably expressed any interest in me. It was awful. And so that's when the depression kind of escalated. So I totally see where this dude's coming from, where he says like he's depressed. People are saying to go to the gym. And to be honest, that's kind of one thing I would probably, if I can go back in time, I would recommend that to myself, go to the gym faster. But I get the position where he's in, because I felt this too, where you go to the gym and you feel intimidated almost because you see these big dudes throwing weight. Depending on the gym, it might be like super loud. Um, when I first tried to get back into the gym, like really consistently and really like get back in shape, or get into shape. I wasn't like in great shape, but like actually try to get into like good shape. I went to this gym called Lionheart, and some days it was empty, but a lot of days it was full of like these huge dudes that probably did steroids, but they were just massive dudes throwing around weight. If you go like too late at night, you get all the frat boys there, of course, and it's not like a big gym. So you get like a tight space with like a bunch of like frat dudes trying to like just bench press and out curl each other. Then you get the dudes that are like actually really athletic and really big, who are just deadlifting like 600 pounds, dropping the weight on the stage, which I don't mind nowadays. I think that's perfectly fine. But when you are just getting into the gym, stuff like that is like super intimidating. You're like, oh my God, these dudes are like so strong. And here I am feeling scrawny and weak, stepping in here, not able to lift like anything, probably gonna like hurt myself on the bench press and get embarrassed. So, not to like make this video drag on too long or be super long-winded, but he's asking, where do you even start with self-improvement? And I kind of have a few different answers. I would say, first of all, this is probably like, some people are gonna think this is bad advice. I would say screw the diet thing initially. He put in here that he's trying to like eat healthy and he sucks at eating healthy and he always eats like microwave foods. My thing is like this. Diet is important, but, because I've had this debate with people, diet's important, but I think initially it's better to just go to the gym and at least get the feeling of the pump and the feeling of you actually doing something, and something that's like fast, like a fast response. Because if you go to the gym and you get a pump, you'll get a fast response. If you diet, it's better for you. It's healthier, but it takes longer to see results, and it can be discouraging because you might go like a month or 2 or 4 months and not see much progress. So that's going to prevent you from doing anything in the grand scheme of things, and you'll just give up and quit because you're not seeing results. So as far as the gym goes, if I were talking to this guy, I would say screw the diet, just focus on the lifting. Just focus on the lifting, focus on the form. Get a better social circle. I know that's hard to say because he seems like he's depressed, so he's probably starting from like bare minimum square one. And yeah, I would say like in this situation, I think what I would do if I were in his shoes, just starting from scratch, too afraid to go to the gym, I think I would just work out by myself, to be honest. Like if like usually I've had people in the past ask me like how they would make a habit out of going to the gym. And usually what I tell them is make your goal to just go to the parking lot. Like make your goal to go to the parking lot. And the reason why I say this is usually by the time you get to the parking lot, you've probably traveled far enough where your next step is usually, okay, I'm here. I might as well at least go in and do something, at least curl something or walk on the treadmill. Anything's better than nothing since I made the trip to get here. That's usually what I tell people. And it seems like he doesn't have as much of a problem going to the gym, but it seems I think I read somewhere where if he does go to the gym, he gets so nervous that he just like looks at the door and just walks away, which doesn't help. So I would say, you know, if I were in his shoes, I would make a goal of just working out from home, doing X amount of push-ups, doing X amount of sit-ups, doing X amount of air squats, and maybe doing a little bit of cardio. And that would be it. And if you do that like 5 times a week, like I would start small and maybe make it like 3 times a week. If I can give my younger self advice or him advice personally, I would say start small. Do it 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Monday, Thursday, and Sunday, whatever works for you and your schedule. Do it 3 times a week until it's a habit. Then once that gets easier, do it 5 times a week. And then once you get to 5 times a week, do that for about 3 months. And by the time 3 months comes around, if you're doing it consistently, you'll probably start to see some progress. You'll start to see some results and you'll start to feel better about yourself and get some self-confidence. And then once you get the self-confidence because your physique's actually changing, then you actually start to go to the gym. And then you try to just go to the gym. Like that's the goal, just to go, not to actually work out, just to go into the gym. If you go into the gym and do 5 minutes of cardio, fine, mission accomplished. If you go into the gym and do like 15-pound dumbbell curls for like 3 sets, cool, mission accomplished. I'm not opposed to dudes going into the gym and just doing the workouts that make them feel comfortable if that leads to them building up a habit of going to the gym. Because I think building up the habit of doing something is better than not doing it at all, if it's a positive thing. I know sometimes people say like, oh, dudes go to the gym and they just do like the beach muscles. They just do chest and they just do like arms or whatever. Initially, I don't think that's that bad of a thing. If your options are don't go to the gym at all and don't get in better shape at all, or you go to the gym and you're only doing chest and you're only doing arms, I'd rather you do chest and arms and do nothing. At least you're going to look better than you were before. At least you're going to get some additional work done to yourself. At least you're getting some, muscle stimulus. It's better than nothing. So initially, once he kind of gets his self-confidence up from doing the body weight workouts, I would say just go to the gym and just do what makes you comfortable. Do the things that you don't feel anxious doing. Do the things that make you feel good. If doing 5 sets of dumbbell curls and that's it makes you feel good because you get a nice pump and your arms look good in the mirror and that makes you happy, cool, do it. If going to the gym and doing like a plate each, 45 on each side of bench press, and that's it for like 4 or 5 or 6 sets, makes you feel good and you feel like you get that nice chest pump and you feel big and maybe you walk out and some chick gives you a compliment, cool, do it. Do it until the anxiety starts to diminish. And then once the anxiety starts to diminish, from that point, I would say work on now an actual routine. Routines are free. Go online, just type in routines, go on ChatGPT, have ChatGPT. I've never tried this, so I don't know if it'll be a good routine, but I'm assuming it'll be a decent routine. Have them type in, have them make up a workout routine for you. If not that, go on Jeff Nippard's YouTube channel, go on Mike Israel's, I think it's Renaissance Periodization, go on their YouTube channels, get a workout routine from them for free, or pay if you want to, but I'm sure they have routines for free, and do their routine. Look up the form, figure out how to get the form down. If you have to start with like no weight just to get the form right, then do it. And I say this because if you do it with good form and you know the form is good, then the anxiety starts to go away. And then you won't care that the big dudes are in the gym doing their thing. In fact, and this is my personal experience, most of those dudes that are huge are actually the most supportive people in the gym. Like the biggest dudes in the gym are usually the nicest dudes and the most supportive dudes and the ones that are going to be the least judgmental because they probably started from the exact same place that you are, or in this case, this guy on Reddit is. They're going to be they started out where he was. So they're going to know the game, from personal experience. So they're not going to be super judgmental. They're going to understand what's going on. And then from that point, you'll start to just create a habit of going to the gym, and then you'll probably still get minimal anxiety. I know for me personally, I still, to this day, and I've been going to the gym for years, I still get like some anxiety sometimes from going to the gym. And sometimes the anxiety is just from like too much coffee in the morning and too much like pre-workout, whatever. But it still comes every once in a while. Or sometimes you do get like a little bit of anxiety when the gym's like too crowded and you feel like your form's not perfect. You feel like some dude might judge you, even though logically you understand that they're not. But once you build the habit, it becomes easier to lift and do those things consistently. So that stuff starts to kind of go away and you can manage it much more effectively. It doesn't bother you as much as time goes on. So hopefully this all helped. Hopefully this made sense. And hopefully if you're watching this and you fall into this category or this question applied to you, hopefully you got a lot out of this. If you did, please like the video, please comment, and please, 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 please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers this year in 2024. So every subscription helps a lot. But until the next video, I will see you. Peace out. Bye.